Boys and girls, welcome back to another Jazzman FPL video. This video we will be breaking down the future game weeks for coming up in the rest of the season. We're going to be going up from game weeks 30 to game weeks 35. So you're going to get 6 game weeks worth of fixtures. We're going to break down who's got the best fixtures, who's got blanks, who's got potential doubles, and a bunch of players that you should be looking to bring into your teams. So a lot of information. We're going to get right into it. None of this long form detailed bullshit where people talk for fucking 30 minutes. I'm going to smash this stuff in 6 or 7 minutes, hopefully. Break down the key stats on players that you need to know, some teams that you should be focusing on, and teams that you should be getting off of. So let's dive right into it. Let's get down to starting with the Arsenal fixtures. Now, they have obviously out of the gates a tough round. First round out, round 30 is Liverpool. Now, that's not an easy round. You don't want to be playing teams that are fighting for something. And Liverpool are clearly fighting for top 4. They don't win this game, basically write them off. Top 4 is done. They must, as a Liverpool fan, must win pretty much every game for the run home to even have themselves a chance at making top 4 in the league. Otherwise, focus on the champs. So, for Arsenal fixtures, that's a tough one. So, I wouldn't be going all in on Arsenal this week. But, after that Liverpool game, fuck me, there is no better team and no better fixtures for it. Sheffield, Fulham, Everton, Newcastle, West Brom. What more do you want? Like, take the Everton game out, maybe that's a tough one. But, Sheffield and Fulham, brilliant games. Newcastle and West Brom, brilliant games. On paper, those 4 games alone are fucking phenomenal. Fulham are obviously a team that is fighting for something. They're trying to get themselves out of that relegation battle, but I don't see them having the power to get over this Arsenal team. So is Newcastle, but I also feel like Newcastle's not actually fighting for a chance to get out of relegation. I feel like they're fighting to get into relegation. Bit of a technical, but still, I see them trying to get relegated so they get an easy buyout from a bigger corporation later on. So, for Arsenal's fixtures, my advice, skip the Liverpool game and jump right in on game week 31. Next up, you've got Liverpool. And again, same thing, same exact story I just said. Arsenal are a tough game. But, as a Liverpool fan, this is a must-win game. Don't beat Arsenal, don't make top 4. Simple as that. So, and I'm pretty sure Klopp is going to be drilling these boys for the next 10 days, basically saying the same thing. So hopefully we come back with no injuries from international. So fingers crossed, we don't have a lot playing, thank God. Hopefully we come back pretty strong, well drilled, and walk into this game with our clear game plan. But following that, we have a pretty decent string of games. We've got Aston Villa, who have been falling off lately, so it's not so bad. Leeds, conceding goals. Again, Newcastle. Then you walk into the Manchester United game, which is a tough one. Granted, very tough game. But again, win Arsenal, win Man U, well and truly in the shout for the top 4. So they are must-win games. And then you walk into Southampton, who are a bit hit and miss this season. So, all in all, Liverpool players become valuable again. For my advice, you'd be sticking with obviously the obvious guys. Trent's decent form lately, he's picked it up a bit. And Salah, they're your 2 guys, or even Jota, even throw Jota in there. If anybody's going to bring in that's not a big hitter and a big spender, I'd be bringing in Jota. He's a good choice for that. So, as for Arsenal players, you've got guys like Lacazette, Pepe, Aubameyang, even Odegaard and Tierney if he's back. Those kind of guys aren't a bad shout either. So, let's move on to the third fixture though. The third, guys, with the third best fixture is Manchester United. And their fixtures coming up are pretty damn good too. Brighton this week, so that's a solid game you want to get behind coming up in game week 30. Get behind the Man U guys in that. Followed by Spurs, which is a weird one. Spurs aren't great at the moment. They aren't playing great. It can always cause you problems. Obviously, Man U, Mourinho is going to be that clash. So it's going to be a tough game. Can't call it, won't call it. Kind of try to avoid it if you can. But then you back it up with Burnley and Leeds. And they're guaranteed wins in my book. If you don't win those games, then you don't deserve to be in the top 4, basically. Then you've got the tough one of Liverpool. So, can you get past Liverpool? Can you hold them off? If you hold them off, you've guaranteed second spot. If you don't, then you've kind of jeopardised the top 4 and made a bit of a fight for the end. And then you follow it up with Aston Villa at the end. And again, they've fallen off lately. Maybe by that point now, have Grealish back. Maybe they'll start to fix their season a bit. Who cares? They're mid-table. They're well and truly safe. They've had a good season for Aston Villa. So Man U, very solid. You know, there's a couple of tricky games in them. The Tottenham game can be a differential game for you guys. So a lot of people will be going Kane and Son. Maybe you go the opposite direction and go Man U guys. But the Liverpool game is obviously the one to avoid and steer clear of. Now we're moving on to the players to bring in. And first guy out of the gates, as I said, Man U have Brighton coming up. Brilliant game coming up. And Shaw is the most informed player across the last 3 game weeks. He's averaging, from a defender, mind you, 9.6 points per game in the last 3. He's got a goal. He's got 3 clean sheets. He is only owned by 13%. That's low as fuck. And he's only 5.2 mil. So Jesus Christ, boys, if you're doing anything, bring in Luke Shaw. The next guy on this list has been a renaissance since going to West Ham, and that's Jesse fucking Lingard. Again, very, very well informed right now. 8.5 points in the last 3 game weeks for points per game in the last 3 game weeks. 2 goals, an assist, has been involved in everything. And in that 8.5 points, he missed the Man U game. Missed the game, and he's still at 8.5 points. Fuck it, that's amazing. He is owned by a bit more, 15%. He's still very good as a differential, 6.2 mil. I'm giving it a 6 out of 10 on the rating, but very solid. If you need West Ham players in your team, West Ham have a very decent run coming up too. You know, Wolves, Leicester, Newcastle, Chelsea, Burnley, Everton. So there's like good game, bad game, good game, bad game, good game, bad game. It's tough to juggle that, but if something's going to happen, I can put my money on it. It'll be either Lingard or Antonio who's involved with it for West Ham. Now we move on to the Arsenal boy himself, and the one guy that I would be definitely bringing in if you need a striker, and fuck me, at this point everybody needs a damn striker, is Lacazette. 6.6 points per game in the last 3 game weeks, 2 goals, 1 assist, 3 games, pretty fucking good stats. And only owned by 6% and 8.2 million. So he's not expensive, he's not owned by a lot, he's a huge differential rating. Get him in your team, boys. He's been brilliant for the last few weeks, and with Arsenal's fixtures coming up being brilliant after the Liverpool game, remember that, skip the Liverpool game. If he doesn't get injured on international duty, if he's out there, and on the Liverpool game, he is the guy for Arsenal you want in your team. Now we move on to the Liverpool boy himself, and that's Diogo Jota. Now everybody's going to be screaming at me saying, go Salah, go Salah. But Jota, if you watch Liverpool, has been the spark of life in that forward line. Mane and Salah have been falling apart, not working together quite well. But when Jota's put back in the team, things just seem to be clicking. He seems more dynamic. He seems on the ball more. He's only just come back from injury. He's only played the last 2 games, and 4.5 points per game isn't a crazy call, but this is where he blows up. This is where things start going Jota's way. He's got a goal in the last 2 games, coming back from injury, only owned by 4.3% and only 6.7 mil. So he is a big differential. Get him in your team. If you're looking for a Liverpool player, you can't afford Salah, you can't afford Mane, and to be honest, if you're picking one of those 2, pick Salah. But if you can't afford them, bring in Jota. I promise you, he is going to return points. Now, he is a controversial one. I know a lot of guys just stick goalkeepers and have them as set and forget. But this guy can really get you some good points. You probably already have like Measler from Leeds, or Martinez, something from like Aston Villa, maybe a Leno or an Edison. If you do have one of those kind of guys like Leno, Edison, something like that sitting in your team, get him out, bring in Dean Henderson. He's been on fire for Man U in these last 3 game weeks. 6.6 points per game in the last 3 game weeks for a goalkeeper. He's kept, in the last 3 games, 3 clean sheets. He's only owned by 1.6% of people and 5.2 mil, so it's quite cheap as a goalie. Look, if you have having an issue with your goalie, this is the time to change him. We've got 8 weeks left. He's going to guarantee you 6 points coming out of that defense, at least in most games. And they have very, very solid fixtures coming up. A lot of obviously other guys that I could rattle off that people are already talking about. Obviously, your big guys, your Antonios, your Kanes, your Salahs, your Fernandezes. Those are the guys you should already know about. The guys that I've just mentioned are guys that you should be paying attention to. These are the guys that'll win you the leagues in your mini leagues. These are the guys that'll get you out of the relegations and the bottom spots and climb your ranks. And if you're still in the cup, win you the cup. These guys are what you should be looking to bring in your team, boys. So hopefully that's helped. The fixtures have helped highlight who you are. Pause on it, take some screenshots. I don't know, do something with it. Use the information that I'm giving to you. If it's been helpful, let me know. I want to know and want to be able to focus on some more teams later on. Do some more deep diving on guys that are underperforming and overperforming for the season. So until that next video, boys, I look forward to seeing you then. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, do all that fun jazz, and I'll see you in the next video.